Good morning, all of God's people. Welcome to another edition of The Commute with your boy, Michael Boone. It's raining today. A lot of people say, growing up, a lot of people would say that, rainy days kind of dampen the mood of the day or have an effect on your feelings, and I used to buy into that until I got an understanding that it wasn't the weather that controlled me, it was me controlling me. Bear with me because I'm going somewhere, and all of you guys watching this, if there's a little shake in my videos, please bear with me for a minute because I'm gonna get that taken care of. But for right now, I want to talk today about your mindset and what it is that's holding you back from truly achieving what it is you want to achieve in this life. Because as I said earlier and before, that we're all destined for greatness in some area of our lives. There's something that all of us are great at. Now, finding out what that something is, that, my friend, is the proverbial needle in the haystack. Because I can come up to you and tell you all day that I see greatness on you and that you're going to be great. And, if you receive it, and someone's never told you that that there's greatness in you or that you can be great, then there may be some trepidation there, maybe some doubt there. There may be a few things that will get in your ear and say, nah, this dude lying. He's just telling you that to make you feel good. Because, and I can only speak about the African American plight because I'm not Caucasian, but because we as African Americans, a lot of us, now I'm not saying all, so if you're getting this, don't come at me with a whole bunch of deep stuff because I really don't have time for it. But a lot of us in our community, we've never had anyone to speak positivity into our lives and to tell us that we are someone and that we can be someone. Because, a lot of us, the only thing we've seen, negativity and hurt and anger, abuse. And those things really do tend to weigh on a person. After a while, if you keep ingesting or digesting a whole bunch of that, then there is no way you're going to see any hope. And what it does is it clouds your judgment about people, and it truly destroys your way of thinking or your mindset, which is what I want to touch upon today or this morning, is your mindset. What is your mind telling you about you? That's the question I have for you this morning. What is your mind telling you about you? What is your mind telling you about you? And if you can answer that question, then you're well on your way to success. But if not, then you just need to do what I like to call some internal, what's the word I'm looking for? Inventory, if you will. Because you need to know and you need to get your mind. There's a thing that we always say in the streets. It's somewhat of a slang term, especially when someone's about to get beat up or they feel like somebody's not thinking the way that they are. The first thing they say is, I'm getting ready to get your mind right. And that's saying that you're not thinking the way they want you to think. And by the time that they're finished, then they're going to be, you're going to be thinking the proper way, if you will. And I'm a student of history. Now, please don't. If I lose you here, then I apologize. But I'm going somewhere if you bear with me. Back in the days, and they still have them in a lot of countries, they would have what we call a re-education camp. And a re-education camp basically said, if you didn't think the way the state or the government, and it happened in a lot of communist and socialist countries, if you didn't think the way they wanted you to think, then they would send you to a re-education camp. And they would send you there to propagandize you and to get your mind right until you thought the way they wanted you to think. Now, for all of its flaws with this country, and this country has a ton of flaws, and I'm not getting political, please just hear me out. This is still one of the last places on this planet Earth where free thought is still expressed. And that's because there's a mindset that the people of this country is what makes this country great, not the government. The mindset of the people is what makes this country great. And having the proper mindset is paramount to your success. A lot of these videos that I give you, I'm gonna be super duper candid. And it's because I don't have anything to hide, but it's also because I believe in sharing my experiences will help you when it comes to your experiences. And it took me a long time, and I'm not ashamed to say it, for my mindset to change that I could be somebody. And it wasn't because I wasn't hearing it, because my mother, shout out to Esther Parker, always instilled in me that I could be great. And believe it or not, I knew it, but I didn't know it to the capacity that I could really launch out and be great on my own, in my own skin. Being great by myself. Not having to lean on someone else's success, but me being great in just an individual greatness, if you will. And once again, that's what makes, I think, the United States so wonderful, is that you have so much individual greatness. It's not like a collective greatness, it's an individual greatness, and it's all because everyone does not share the same mindset. You have some people that they're just satisfied with getting up every morning, going to a job that they can't stand, sitting in a cubicle they can't stand, looking at a computer screen, looking at the people they can't stand, but yet and still, and they want greater, but they're not willing to do the things that attracts and brings the greater into their lives. So what do? They continue to sit on their seat of nothing, as we like to call it in the church. And they expect things to just get better on their own. Well, I'm here to tell you, things aren't just going to get better on their own. Like I said before, there's just not one day a bird is not just going to fly by and drop a bag of gold coins in your lap, and all of a sudden your problems are gonna disappear. Nah, it's not gonna happen like that. You know the only way it's gonna happen? Hard work and a mindset to achieve. Now, I know you may be asking, okay, Boone, I hear you, but how do I get this mindset? And that, my friends, is $1 million question. I promise you. You got people out there like Les Brown and Tony Robbins. They're making millions of dollars. And the thing about that is, believe it or not, these people pay all this money to go, and only a fraction of the people truly achieve the success that they're teaching. Isn't that crazy? They spending all this money to go to these seminars, getting all these books and all these self-help CDs, and there's nothing wrong with that. Trust me, I think it's genius, to be honest with you. But what they do is they get all this information, but they don't do anything with the information that they have received. And that's the problem with a lot of people in general, is that we're constantly thinking and learning, but we're not doing anything. I just want to touch upon people that have multiple degrees. And believe you me, I believe in getting every degree you can get if you're going to use them properly once you get them. But just having a degree to be having it, you know, you got people that got 3 and 4 master's degrees. And what I'm finding out is, and I know this may sound a little controversial, but I'm going to say it anyway. What I'm finding out is a lot of people hide behind their degrees. They stay in school to keep from having to go out into the real world, because they have a mindset to learn, but they don't have a mindset to do or apply what it is that they've learned. So you get people 3, 4 degrees, 3 masters on top of a JD. And trust me, when we're in a room and we sipping champagne, or it's a black tie fair, and you step in the room and everybody says this is such and such, and they have 4 or 5 degrees, it's impressive then. But in that real world, how impressive is it? You go up to a regular Joe Blow on the street and tell them you got 4 or 5 degrees, they're gonna look at you like, so? You know, because they're not gonna be impressed. And you're gonna, and you know, and the sad part about it is they would have a tendency to look down upon Joe Blow. But Joe Blow may have his own HVAC business, his own plumbing business, you know, or he's an electrician, and he's content with his job. He's mastered his craft. He's working in his trade, and he's pretty successful. Because he had the mindset to go to school, to learn the trade, or to learn under someone, to be an apprentice under someone, to learn a trade, and to make some things happen. So, believe it or not, the everyday common man would look at Joe Blow and be more impressed with him than he would be with this person that has all of these degrees. Because and my friend, bless his heart, because we're going to touch on this also, one of my best friends, Thomas H Clifton Esquire, he and I, we're going to do some things together. But one of his biggest pet peeves these days, and this man is a successful attorney, is that he feels like the education system is truly failing the people, because the people aren't learning what they need to learn in order to go into the 21st century. And it's a shout out to all my teachers. Once again, please don't take this the wrong way, but if you do, I can live with it. I mean, the one thing you're going to find out about me in my videos and in the comments or whatever, I have thick skin. I'm not one of those that, you know, will shut anything down because people decide they're going to troll or be negative, because I've dealt with so much negativity and rough times in my life, there's not too much you can say to me that'll move me from my purpose and what it is that I have to do. But back to my teachers, and it's not their fault. They're following the curriculum, but the curriculum is outdated for where our children are going and what it is that they have to face. And to be honest, we're failing them because we're not preparing them properly. Whereas overseas, Japan, mostly the Asian countries, they're light years ahead when it comes to things like AI and technology, which is where we're headed. But yet and still, we're still teaching the basics of Common Core math. And they're watering down things to the point where, you're just getting people through just to get them through. And as I said before, and I'll touch on this later on, is we're doing our babies a disservice. So it's up to us parents, that where we feel like our children are coming up short, that we have to step in and we have to be somewhat of the educators that they're going to have in their lives. The way you think about things, people. The Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. There's a poem that we learned when I pledged my fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. When I pledged my fraternity, and it's a famous poem. It's the man who thinks he can. And it starts off, if you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you won't. If you like to win but think you can't, it's almost a cinch you won't. Think about that. If you think you're beaten, you're already defeated. My goodness. So, back to that mindset. Well, I'm still in the mindset. If you think you're beaten, you are. What are you thinking about your situation? And I know a lot of people looking at this don't see any hope. They think that this is their lot in life. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's not the case. But there are some things that you can get help with, or you can do to make things a little bit better in your life or in your lives, as far as having the proper mindset to succeed. And this was kind of an opening video, or part one, because I'm getting ready to pull into my parking lot. But part two will come sometime down the road. But until then, I'll give you a little mini homework assignment. I want you to do some inventory, if you will, of your situation and what it is you have going on in your life right now, in the present time. What you have going on. What is it you have going on? And what is it, or what are you thinking about your current situation? And if it's not what you want, which, trust me, more than likely, I'm quite sure it isn't. If it's not what you want, then begin to sit down. As I said the other day, when it comes to your vision, I want you to begin to sit down, and I want you to write out the hindrances that have been stopping you from achieving. And once you look at some of those hindrances, it's time to ask yourself, now what am I going to do to get over these hurdles and these hindrances that I may achieve and that I may get to where it is I need to go? Like I said, this is just part one, because we're going to touch on further on the mindset, man. This mindset is going to be an ongoing issue. But for right now, we're just breaking the ice. This is Michael C. Boone. And I hope and pray that you have a wonderful day. As always, take care of yourself. And if nobody else out there tells you that they love you today, know that I love you. And here's to your success. God bless.